This video is sponsored by Brain. What's up? Welcome to our new Q&A. Today we're doing a 15 subscriber special. I'm joined today by Tobias. It's the random dude from the last Q&A.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you excited to answer some
No.
questions? Why not?
I can try them.
Okay,
I hope they're not too hard.
let's not wait too long. We'll start immediately with the first question from Tenderloin. I don't know what to do with my life, and I heard neurons have more potential than I do.
No.
Well, what?
That's a good question. But do not worry. Because when we're talking about potentials in the neuron, because they're like electric, and since you have billions of neurons in your brain, you also have like a lot of electrical connections. But good luck finding your, your purpose in life.
You can do this. Let's go on to the second question. It's from Too Cool for Neuron.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Good name.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good name. And it says, how do neurons talk to each other?
Oh, well, that's a good question. So, if you look at the body of a neuron, like you have like the main body is like a soma, and then you have the dendrites and the axons, and the axons are connected to the dendrites of. They're not connected. They're like in a small area, and when they connect, they're like spraying out chemicals. They're called neurotransmitters, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And there are like 50 different chemicals different chemicals in the axons, and depends on the situation. Then like one of those 50 chemicals is spread out, which is like a key to open the path for the message to go on to the next neuron.
Damn. That's interesting. Our next question is from Frankalicious sent by _RU.
Wait, I know him. From the last video.
Yeah, he changed his name though.
Why?
And the question is, does a neuron think by itself?
Oh. Yeah, we don't need this. A neuron thinks to some extent. It has to sum up some of the input it gets to pass to the other neuron until it reaches some threshold.
So it kind of thinks by itself.
Yeah, kind of, but to some extent, but only like parts, like those small parts, which has to pass it on to the next neuron. So that's kind of self-thinking.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. Let's move on to our next question. This one is from Sponsor Me God. Wow, what a name. And the question he asked is, how does a signal travel without messing up other signals?
Oh, yeah, we talked about the... Okay, so we talked about the chemicals and the neurotransmitters inside axons and dendrites. So when the input was passed, and chemicals are like locked for the keys for the message to go through, and then when they arrive, they have to go back to the axon of the neuron where they come from, and in that time the neuron cannot get any other signal from the neuron, and that's called the refractory period. So in order to not mess up the neuron's messaging system, they have to wait for the chemicals to go back to the first neuron where they got the message from.
Wow, you sure know a lot of stuff about this.
Yeah, I'm studying this.
You know yourself, that's good. Let's go to our next question. It's from Slightly Used Bucket. And the question
What
is...
do you mean, slightly used? What is a slightly used bucket?
I mean, it's not new. So it has been used.
But it's not used. No,
It's
it's
not like-
slightly used.
You don't see that it's used, but it's used.
Okay.
You just know it. Okay, on to the question. If neurons communicate, do they talk about the same thing?
No, because there are different types of neurons, and each have their own role. For example, if they have like neurons that are they have a role for sensory types, and then they get like the sensory input, and then there are other types who get like the output, so they don't talk about the same thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you want to get rid of your depression? Do you want a friend that will be there for you forever? Introducing Butters, your friendly AI that will help you with every problem that you will have, or will never have. Because he can do everything and nothing at all. If you want him to shut down. Only $3.99.
But can it do this?
Ah!
We have more questions. We have one from I'm not O Potassium. And the question is, electricity is very messy. How does potential not get lost or slow down?
Okay, so we can make a comparison to the computer system, and there are like the electrical signals. They are isolated in the wires, so they cannot get lost. And we have the same thing in the brain. We have the myelin layer, yeah, that thing. That helps the signal to speed up. And around that we have the glial cell and the front cell, which is isolating the layer, so the signal cannot get lost.
Okay, that makes sense. Our next question is from Circuit. These names today are on point. The question is, are action potentials only about electricity?
No, because there's also chemistry involved. To produce an electric discharge, there's natrium and potassium, and they have like an ionic connection that is depending on the substance. So to produce the electrical signal, we need those two chemicals to produce the signal.
It's time for our next question. This question is from Neurotransmitting 24/7. You want to know what he says?
No.
I'm going to tell you nonetheless. He asked, can my neurons still communicate if I lose one?
If an axon gets cut off, then the glial cell can... What are you doing?
He was eating chips from his tentacle.
Yes, it can, because neurons can regenerate. For example, if an axon is cut off, then the glial cells can re-establish the connection by building a new path, and so the signal can just can be transmitted through that path that was built.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next question. It's from Brain Traumatized.
Yes.
And the question is, if the brain uses electricity, can my brain power up something? So for example, can you charge your phone?
No. No, you cannot. Even though the basic principle of a working brain is electricity, you cannot use it to charge your phone. But if you take the same energy that is produced by the brain, you could power up an LED. So you your whole life you're using less power to power up a normal light bulb. But if you take an LED that takes less, then that would be fine. But in general, you can't charge your phone with it.
And now for our last question. It's from Onero-chan.
What are those names?
The question is, how do neural networks mimic neurons?
So great. Neural networks have units that are supposed to act like neurons. Fuck. In the way they're connected. Oh yeah, in the way they're connected to each other. Yeah, sure. Okay. In order to pass a signal, it's supposed to sum up the thoughts in weights, and just like a neuron, it has to pass the signal or the weights to a threshold to propagate. Yeah.
Wow.
Do we have time for bonus question?
Let's see. No, we don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Bye. That was it for this week's video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe to PewDiePie to beat T-Series, because we need your help.
That's true. We need your help. Alright, see you next time.
In another video. Probably another Q&A.
Yeah.
Maybe
Bye.
31. I
What?
don't know. See you there.
Ah, that
Bye.
works.